thrill me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
Hey yo, and welcome to the Review with Rob show. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for joining in, watching. You can't watching. They're gonna be watching something later, man. I can talk about that in a moment. But I appreciate you for joining the show here. I appreciate you taking the time to listen on, man. Welcome you all. I am, of course, your host, Review with Rob. Freaking weird start, man. Already off the rails, man. But if you're a new listener to the show, welcome. I'm, always, that's what the Let's Get Twisted at the beginning of the song's for. Always off the rails, man. But appreciate you taking the time to listen in to the new episode, man. Gonna talk 2 movie reviews this week, man. Spooky season is, I guess, officially in effect for some people. It's always spooky in my mind, man. I can watch horror movies year round. I don't need a certain month or 2 months to start watching horror movies and, counting down and all that stuff, man. I can watch horror movies year round. But for a lot of people, this is the beginning of spooky time for them. And this first, I guess, episode is the spooky season, if you will. So 2 movie reviews this week. 2 awesome spooky movies came out since the last time we talked here. We have Rob Zombie's take on the Munsters that hit Netflix this week as well. We have Hocus Pocus 2, which is now streaming on Disney Plus, man. So I'm going to do a review of both of those if you follow me on TikTok, which, why not? I got like 2 videos because my other TikTok got hacked. Freaking dang it, man. But neither here nor there. New TikTok's up, follow along, have fun over there. Review it, Rob. I think it's review _ then it Rob. Fun stuff over there. I talked briefly about the Munsters and Hocus Pocus. Gave some thoughts. I'm gonna give some more thoughts on this episode as well. Got a lot of news to talk about with you, lovely people. So can't wait to get in that. Before we do that, let's go ahead and take care of a little business. Please follow, like, subscribe to the Thrill Me Podcast Network on YouTube. We got things going on over there. It's building and growing and, continuing to be, fun over there. We've got the Facebook page. We've got the Instagram, man. We've got the TikTok. The Thrill Me Podcast Network has its own TikTok as well. So please give us a like, follow, and subscribe there. Share with whoever you want to share with. And as well, this week is a big time week for the Thrill Me Podcast Network as we have Spooktacular 4 happening. That's right. You're like, 4. There's been 3 other Spooktaculars. This is the first one for the Thrill Me Podcast Network, though. Spooktacular 4, thrill me to death. A lot of fun stuff going on. Friday the 7th, later on this week on the 7th, we will have a Friday the 13th game stream and a prize giveaway, man. So tune into that. That will be, of course, on the Thrill Me Podcast Network's YouTube. You can tune in that and have fun. Maybe I'll be playing the game for the first time ever. We'll see. I freaking suck at that game, man. I'm the worst. Like, I'll morph into trees. Like, I suck at that game so bad. And then, let's see, we've got the 8th. I don't know why I took a dramatic pause there like I'm William Shatner. But yeah, on Saturday the 8th, that's when all of our shows are doing some fun stuff, man. So you've got Improper Spooky Guidance, right? You've got the Metal Death Groove. You've got the Review at Rob Horror Show. That's me. Hey. If you couldn't tell, that show's going to be all horror, man. And we've got Mr. Wonderful's Monster Show. And then Haunts Podcast will be live from Red Vein Haunts. I'm always doing great stuff over there at the Haunts. This is the early stuff. I don't know if the shows are going to be called that or not. I don't know. I'm just part of the network, man. Just releasing stuff. And that will be the first ever ever video of the Review It Rob show. So the Review It Rob horror show will be like the first ever time you'll see me actually doing the show. So be prepared for a lot of awkwardness and, just, out there-ness, man. But again, please follow Throwing Podcast Network. We got Spooktacular 4 going on this week, man. Later this week, especially going to want to follow YouTube to see the Friday the 13th game stream. Maybe win some prizes if you're lucky. And then, the next day, you get to see all of our live shows doing some horror-themed goodness for you all. So, speaking of horror-themed goodness and spookiness, let's go ahead and jump into some reviews, shall we? We're going to cue it up first with Rob Zombie's Munsters film, man. Let's check this out.
Rob Zombie, the director of House of a Thousand Corpses, Halloween, and The Devil's Rejects, brings you the greatest love story ever told.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Think of it. The brain of a super genius transplanted into the body of a perfect physical specimen.
I want a man that makes my blood run cold. A man that every time he enters my crypt, it's like a stake through my dead black heart.
I can whip you up a humpy down in the lamb.
Oh no. Remember what happened last time?
He was batty.
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm looking for a vision, a queen, true love.
And what exactly do you want?
Is Herman Munster in there? I knew the moment I laid eyes on you that you were special. I understand if you don't feel the same. I'm just a regular gal living a boring, normal life.
If there's one thing I know, is that the rest of the world melted away as soon as you appeared in my life.
It seems Miss Lily is truly in love.
Oh, come on. You know and I know that we gotta get rid of that bozo Herman Munster.
Greetings from Transylvania. That's a strange way of saying hello.
Oh, I guess we're gonna have to get used to it.
All right. That was, of course, the trailer for Rob Zombie's Munsters film that released on Netflix. You can also buy it on home copy, be it digital or physical copy. I'm definitely going to go out and buy the physical copy because I love Rob Zombie's work, man. I'm a Rob Zombie fan. So, The Munsters is rated PG for language, scary images, macabre, and suggestive material. It is a family comedy film, much different than anything you've seen from Rob Zombie before. Comes in at a time frame of 1 hour and 50 minutes, and again, it is streaming on Netflix, or you can buy a physical copy wherever they're sold. If you can tell from the trailer there, this is essentially, I'm not even going to go to the synopsis. So basically what this movie is a fan of the Munsters got the chance to play with the toys, man. Rob Zombie, a huge fan of the Munsters. If you didn't know that, now you know. He finally got the opportunity to work on the Munsters. Again, he's a huge fan of it. He tried before to do a movie. It didn't work out with the studio. They ended up trying to do the show. That was, of course, the show with dude from Stand By Me. Can't remember his name right now. Jerry O'Connell. Jerry O'Connell. Remember, they tried to do the show back in 2012 as a TV show, a reboot of the TV show, and it was called Mockingbird Lane. It wasn't even called The Munsters. It was called Mockingbird Lane, and that didn't fare too well, if you remember. But if you don't remember that, good for you. So, Rob Zombie finally had the chance to play with the characters and, ran into some kind of issues with the studio. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But overall, what the idea of the movie is, as you can, again, probably tell from the audio there for the trailer, that this is the greatest love story ever told. you couldn't see me. If this was the video, you can see I was doing the quotations because, we all know Gomez and Morticia Addams is the greatest love story ever told. I mean, come on. But basically, the whole idea of the movie is the love story of Lily and Herman when they finally find each other. Lily's character is looking to fall in love with somebody. We have Herman who gets built. She sees Herman, falls madly for him. Those two, come together, and then, chaos and all that stuff happens around them. So it is mostly like a love story. It's an origin story of the Munsters film. The Munsters franchise, the Munsters characters is an origin story, so there's no kids or anything like that. It's very, it's Lily, Grandpa, and Herman. And you can tell watching this if you watch the Munsters show, which I did. You've heard me mostly talk about the Addams Family because I love the Addams Family, but I did enjoy the Munsters a lot. I watched it a good bit as well, and always had a great time with the show. And what I like about Rob Zombie's version, and again, you can tell that he's a fan of it, is that the feel is there. Like the feel of that Munsters show is there. Obviously, it's got the Rob Zombie kind of look to it, and kind of feel to it. But overall, I mean, you can even hear in the audio they've got like the comedy bits and the sound effects and all that stuff. Like you can tell that he really loved the original show and he put in everything that he could into his film to make it feel like that show, and it absolutely does that. Like he absolutely nailed the feeling. Like the whole time I was watching the movie, I was just having a good time, like laughing, having a good time. I think Sherry does a really good job as Lily, and that was always something that people complain about. People complain about Sherry all the time. I don't think Sherry's really a bad actress by any means or anything, but so I don't, people just hate to hate. Like they've started hating Rob Zombie just to hate Rob Zombie at this point. But I think she was good. Grandpa felt just like Grandpa from the show. And I think Herman was the one that I had to get most used to, and that's nothing against the actor by any means. Jeff Daniel Phillips does a great job. It's just to kind of get used to that because you're so used to Fred Gwynn in the role of Herman Munster, so it's like, But again, nothing against Jeff Daniel Phillips. He did really good, and when you get used to it, you get used to it. It's a fun time. It's one of those things that you can easily throw on during this time of year. I'll watch the movie multiple times. I don't need a special reason to watch the movie. Like I'll watch it no matter what because it's just that fun to me. Like it's just a fun time movie. Watching it, it feels very much like the show. And when you're watching the movie, which is an hour and 50 minutes long, which earlier today, Mr. Wonderful Show, check it out on the Throw Me Podcast Network. He and I, exchanged a little text, and we both agreed that it does feel a little long. An hour and 50 minutes does seem like a long time for this, where it's mostly the feel and the vibe of it is just like multiple episodes put together. Like, TV shows will do like those special episodes where they stay tuned to see what happens next. Kind of felt like that way, just without the stay tuned to see what happens next. Just everything was kind of pushed together. I don't think, again, I have a great time the whole time watching the Munsters film. Like I was laughing, I was having a good time, I was following it, I was getting the beats of the story, I was getting the heart of the story there. Like I was having a good time with it, but I can see where an hour and 50 minutes may be a tad too long. But my overall feel with the movie is that it was a really good time. So, going into what talked about some of the things Rob Zombie ran into. One of the things he ran into is that Universal, who is behind this movie, did not want to have the Monsters movie made if it was going to be filmed in black and white. So if you remember, the original show was filmed in black and white, and they didn't want this movie made in black and white because they think it would be confusing for audiences, which Rob Zombie said, people are not that stupid, which fair enough. Like even Universal tried to get the black and white part of the trailer taken out because they're like, this can be confusing to people. Like, no, dude, like people are stupid in this day and age, but they're not that stupid. So he had to fight with that. And it was disappointing at first, but he led Rob Zombie to think of, okay, what's the opposite of black and white, which led him to have the very colorful, hyper aesthetic feel and vibe of the show. Very colorful, very poppy with the colors and all that stuff, with the greens and purples and everything. And you can see where he, ramped it up for that reason. So good job on him there. Again, it's a good time, man. Is it going to be the greatest film ever? No, but that's not what he's going for. He's just playing with the toys that he always hoped to play with. I mean, we've all had that moment. in our lives if we're like movie fanatics or cinemaphiles or anything like that. We're like, man, if I had the chance to make a movie of my favorite thing, like I would do this or I do that. I do that with the Power Rangers all the time. Like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was like my jam growing up. Like Rob Zombie had the Munsters growing up. I had the freaking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, dude. So there's always these times where I'll just be thinking like, man, I would love to see a movie do this or I'd love to see a movie do that. I even do it with video games. Like I would love a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers video game like this, you know. So I get the idea, and we can all have that idea and want and desire. You know, I'm sure there's people out there like I would do a Friday the 13th movie like this, or I would do a freaking Star Wars movie like this. It's all the worlds. Everybody's like that. So props to him. Happy for him. Again, I'm a Rob Zombie fan, and to be honest with you, when it comes to this movie and Rob Zombie's filmography, like it's probably top 3 film for me. Like I enjoyed it that much from the times I watched it. I've watched it 2 times now, and I can't wait to watch it again. Like it's going to be in regular rotation for me. I'll watch it whenever, wherever, because it's like a fun time movie for me. But when it comes to this time of year and we're doing like the regular rewatches, it's permanently in there for me now to watch. Like it's a good time. Absolutely good time. When it comes to critic scores and all that stuff, Rotten Tomatoes, obviously not a big fan of it. They have it at a 42%, and the audience is even worse at 37%. While IMDb has it at a 4.6 out of 10. Again, people just hate Rob Zombie to hate Rob Zombie. Again, it feels like the Munsters show to me. And again, I've watched the Munsters show plenty of times. I'm not just saying it to say it. I've watched that show plenty of times, and I get the same exact feel from this movie that I got with the show. Obviously, there's differences, and there's the Rob Zombie, feel to it. But at the heart of it and the insides and all that of the show or the movie, see, called it the show because it feels like the show to me. So overall, I had a fantastic time with the Munsters. Again, it's a top 3 film for me out of Rob Zombie's filmography. I think he did fantastic, man. I think it's a good fun time. So definitely give that a check out on Netflix. Yeah. All right, so that was my thoughts on Rob Zombie's Munsters, but as promised, there is a second movie to review here, and that is, of course, the much anticipated, longly hoped for Hocus Pocus 2. The sequel finally is here, just a smidge under 30 years. And it's just a smidge under its 30th anniversary, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a double feature release, physical copy at some point in time with both films in there for the 30th anniversary of Hocus Pocus. But before we get there, let's go ahead and check this out, and then let's talk about the movie afterwards.
I banish thee from Salem forever.
They were right to fear thee. Magic has a way of uniting. Happy 16th birthday, child.
I have a gift for my favorite customers. Legend has it, it's on the 16th birthday that a witch gets her powers.
Lock up your children! Yes, Salem, we're back!
Gilbert, where did you get that candle? We have to get out of here. The witches will be here any second. Ah! The book is alive.
He woke up?
If we intend to live past sunrise, we have to steal their souls.
Whoa, wait, can we talk about this?
No. We must fly! We run amok!
Not to freak out. The vengeful maniac obsessed with getting revenge on Salem sounds very bad for Salem.
We should get some salt. Why? So it tastes better when they eat us? Spread out.
That's not 6 feet under.
Stop! I am a good zombie.
All right, man. So that was the trailer for Hocus Pocus 2, which is streaming now on Disney Plus. It is rated PG for action, some language, macabre, and suggestive humor. Is that the same thing as freaking the Munsters? The Munsters had scary images. Okay. but pretty much the same. Suggestive material, suggestive humor, macabre. All right, cool. Anyways, kids, family, holiday movie. It's on Disney Plus again. Runtime for this one is an hour and 47 minutes. Let's see, it is 29 years since someone lit the black flame candle and resurrected the 17th century sisters, and they are looking for revenge. Now it is up to 3 high school students to stop the ravenous witches from wreaking a new kind of havoc on Salem before dawn on All Hallows Eve. Rotten Tomatoes has a critic score of 61% and the audience score at a 55%, while IMDb has it at a 6.2 out of 10. So, as I mentioned before, going into the trailer there, this has been something that people have been wanting for a while. Sequel to Hocus Pocus. They've always loved the characters, the Sanderson sisters. They've absolutely always loved them. They put a spell on us back in 1993 when the original film came out. Now, 30 years later, we've got the sequel that, the past couple of years, I don't know how long it's been, but it seems like people have been wanting a Hocus Pocus 2 film for a while. So, did it fall on its face as a sequel, where it was put out just because people were hoping for it and then they didn't deliver, or was it actually as good as the first film? And I will say, without any hesitation, that it is as good as the first film, in my opinion. Is the first film a little bit better? Sure, absolutely. But that takes absolutely nothing away from this movie. It's got the feel you would want. It's got that spooky, energy and vibe to it like the original film has. It's got a heart to it as well. There is a freaking heart to the story and this film that I was like, oh my god. Especially to the point where at the end where they freaking got me to tear up, man. They got me to tear up in the end of this movie. So, I mean, if you couldn't tell already, enjoyed this movie as well. Mentioned it with the Munsters, how that movie will now be part of my regular watching around spooky season times. Hocus Pocus has always been in my regular watch, and now Hocus Pocus 2 will be right there, right behind it, man. Double feature action for sure, man. I could do like a fun week of like the Hocus Pocus films, the Rob Zombie's Munsters, and freaking Hubie Halloween, man. What a week. That's 4 movies. I know I gotta throw some more in there, but hey, that's beside the point at the moment. I'll figure that out at a later time. But I like what they did with this movie. I think the nostalgia play was there, obviously, but it's not overdone. It's not ridiculous. Like, it follows exactly the way you would think it should. It gives you the characters the way you remember them, and it's fantastic. And you love all that stuff. You've got them, you've got the cat, you've got the freaking zombie ex-boyfriend, all that stuff, man. You've got the vibes and feels that you want from it. What you don't get for this movie is Thora Birch isn't back, who played Danny in the original film. Reason being scheduling conflict. So she couldn't be in the sequel. Maybe she'll be in another sequel. We'll talk about that in a moment. As well, Max and Allison are not back for the film, and the reason for that being it was difficult to fit them into the new storyline, according to director Annie and Fletcher. So, here nor there, again, we'll see if they turn up at a later time. But I enjoyed this movie, man. I think, again, it's a fun time vibe to it. I got to watch this with my brother Tombstone Josh and his family. And, sat there and had a good time. And I laughed. I had the same feeling I had when I watched the first Hocus Pocus film. It's just a good time, man. And freaking Bette Midler, fantastic. Like, she's one of the absolute best out there. Like, she's so freaking good. Like, you can see the theater of her performances, man. She's so good at what she does. And when she's playing this role of Winifred, it's so great to see her back in the role of Winifred. And she's just killing it, like she always does, man. So it was fun to revisit the characters. It's a good time to see them again. Again, like I said, it'll be in regular rotation. I'm sure I'm going to watch it again before the end of the year. Just call it, review it, review it freeform over here, because I'm going to be playing this shit on replay over and over again. But I enjoyed it, man. I like what they did. And like I said, there's the nostalgia, but they don't overdo it. You've got some new characters in the film, which are, I think, good introduction characters, and it's a fun time. There are 2 credit scenes in the film, one that I knew of and one I did not know of before recording this episode here. The one that I did see is the sisters singing a song So, of course, if you remember anything about the original Hocus Pocus, there's always going to be a musical number, especially when you got Bette Midler hanging around, which is a great thing. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic thing. I've already added the songs to my movie playlist. That's right, I have a movie playlist. Dude, I love movies. I'm a movie fanatic. So, yes, I have a movie playlist where I add songs. I make a playlist and I add songs from when I'm watching a movie. I'm like, oh, that song came on. But, caveat to that, I don't know if that's the right word, but I don't care. It has to be from an actual film soundtrack. It can't be like, yeah, CCR is in Forrest Gump, and I could just find that song in CCR's album and put it in there. Sure, but I don't want to do it like that, man. I want to do like actual film soundtracks. So the film has a soundtrack and it's not just all scores. Like, it's got the songs on it, then I'll add it to that playlist. I know. I know. I'm me. I'm me and I wouldn't want to be anybody else, man. But such a good time. Good time and freaking like I said, it got me to tear up at the end just like any freaking Disney movie should. So I enjoyed it, man. I'm glad that this one didn't fall on his face. So that was the one credit scene. The other credit scene that Tombstone Josh had mentioned before told me about because I didn't know. Again, I watched the movie with them. I haven't watched it again, so I wouldn't have known about another credit scene. But there is an extra credit scene which very much hints at the possibility of a sequel. And looking at the score. If they're looking at that, I mean, audience score 55 surprises me. Like, it seems like a lot of people have enjoyed the movie from what I've seen. Of course, I block out a lot of negativity, so maybe I haven't seen that. But it seems like people have enjoyed the movie. So I don't get the 55 part of it. Now, while we're looking at the scores here, very interestingly that there is a 30% difference in the critic scores. The original film, critic score wise on Rotten Tomatoes, is at a 38%. Insanity. But this one, Hocus Pocus 2, is currently at a 61%. So again, close to like a 30% difference there. I know math. Obviously, if it was 68, it'd be 30. Shut up, all right? I said close, okay? Okay. But I mean, it's getting. There's no doubt in my mind we'll get a Hocus Pocus 3. Like they hinted at it there at the end, and of course sometimes you hint at it and then the movie doesn't do good, like freaking The Mummy, which I love to death. I love that movie to death, and they hinted at a world, but we're not gonna get that because haters hated Tom Cruise. They now love him because of Top Gun Maverick, which could have got that energy during The Mummy, but neither here nor there. We'll talk about. We're not gonna talk about that at a later time, but. They're setting up a sequel, and I hope it happens, man. You've got Disney Plus. In this day and age where you've got all these streaming services, you've got Disney Plus right there. Why the hell not? You're Disney. You've got all the money in the world almost. So you can make any kind of movie you want to make. So I think, not even looking at those scores, looking at social chatter, if you will, it seems like people are having a good time in the movie. So, of course, there's always going to be negative stuff out there. Just ignore it. That's what I do with the Rob Zombie stuff. People hate Rob Zombie stuff. I love his films to death, and love his Munsters, and I enjoyed Hocus Pocus too, man. So 2 very solid movies that have been added to my October rotation for sure. Can't wait to check both of them out again. I'm ready to watch them again. I've seen the Munsters twice now. Gonna definitely watch that again. Can't wait to jump back into Hocus Pocus 2, do the double feature of both Hocus Pocus and then follow up Hocus Pocus 2, and fingers crossed for a third film that they are now teasing. So there you go, 2 reviews, man. Let's go ahead and jump into the news with the first bit of news here with some horror talk. And the big horror news that has happened since the last time we talked here is that Robert Eggers is working on a Nosferatu movie, which I believe I've already talked about before, but now we've got some casting for this bad boy. Bill Skarsgård, you know him. You love him. He is in talks to play the title character as well. Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter, of course, is set to co-star. Eggers will write, direct, and produce the new imagining of the classic film, which follows the gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman, who we can assume will be played by Depp, and a 19th century German and 19th century Germany, Jesus, and the ancient Transylvanian vampire, who we assume would be played by Skarsgård, who stalks her, bringing untold horror with him. Now, I watched Nosferatu not too long ago for the first time, and it, an absolute classic. Very early horror film, very early horror take, but I think it was a really solid film. So let's see what we can do here, man. We'll see how it ends up going. Robert Eggers' feature filmography. He's got The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman, and of course Nosferatu would be the next one for him. I mean, The Witch I need to re-see. I thought that movie was going to be completely different than what I was getting. The Lighthouse I saw was good, maybe a little overrated, but it was good. And then The Northman, which I had mixed feelings about, but I'm interested, man. I'm into it. Bill Skarsgård, fantastic actor, so can't wait to see what he does. If he's playing the role of Nosferatu, could be very good. While we're on the Bill Skarsgård talk, he is playing the Crow, and that comic book inspired adaptation of the long drama, just freaking torture, pain to make, film. They've been trying to make a Crow film for a while now. Jason Momoa was attached at one point in time. Well, the one with Bill Skarsgård starring has wrapped production. According to documentation filled with the city, The Crow was registered as a TV production with a total of 6 episodes shot on Prague locations. This information has not been confirmed by those involved with the shooting, but it was previously reported that the project was a feature film. Now, maybe a show. Maybe that'll help it. Because again, they've been trying to make this movie for a while now, have had no luck there. So we'll see if it is turned into a show or movie or not. I'll report that when we get that news, but we'll see how that goes. I still haven't seen The Crow. A lot of people get freaked out when I say that, but it's never come across my radar, which is interesting because Sting, WCW Sting, not freaking the police's Sting, he changed his character to basically a Crow character, which as close as I've gotten to that. So there you go. Let's see, Jurassic talk. The future of the Jurassic Park franchise, currently unknown, but we all know that there will be more to come with the Jurassic franchise for sure. Jurassic World Dominion recently came out and recently passed $1 billion. Mixed reviews on that one. I need to watch it again, but definitely wasn't overly excited leaving the theater after seeing that movie. But there were parts that I enjoyed. So again, due for a rewatch, especially with the extended version. Colin Trevorrow has led it to believe that more is yet to come, saying, quote, "This movie clearly takes a real interest in creating new characters that a new generation is going to latch onto." The character of Kayla Watts, Ramsey Cole, who I think in the extended edition you really feel his purpose in a greater way. Trevorrow also went on to say that Sonia Santos, who was just arrested at the end, there's more to come there. So that seems to be teasing more to come with some of the newer characters introduced in the most recent film. I would assume the legacy characters of Dr. Alan Grant, Ellie, and Ian Malcolm. Probably won't see them again. Owen and Claire, I would assume we probably won't see again. I think those characters are probably done. I don't know about the little girl, but we'll see. The little girl. Her name's Macy, for God's sakes. Wow, Jurassic World Dominion has a 29% run. Jeez. That movie is not liked. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's always going to be Jurassic talk, and that franchise will never be just idle. I'm sure there will be more to come. Director Colin Trevorrow also touched on the fact that Universal hinted that Jurassic World Dominion was the end of the Jurassic Park era. He would say, quote, "I never knew that this was the ending of the franchise until I saw the marketing. Those guys are brilliant at what they do, but for me, I think it might have been clearer if they'd said at the end of an era as opposed to all of it. Because regardless of the cynical approach, of course, they're going to want to make more money, which is what Jurassic World was about. A new dinosaur fan is born every day. Kids deserve these movies, and young filmmakers grow up with these stories, much like Peter Pan, The Wizard of Oz, in worlds we've returned to constantly." Which is not wrong. Obviously, there's going to be another freaking Jurassic film, just like Halloween. You've got Halloween Ends coming out soon. There's going to be another fucking Michael Myers movie. Like, there's never not going to be a Michael Myers movie. They don't have the issues like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street have, where, Friday the 13th is just a whole nother issue there. And Nightmare on Elm Street just hasn't found where it wants to land on its legs yet. But, our feet. Land on your legs might kind of hurt. If you land on your feet, though, you might have a chance. But yeah, obviously there's going to be another Jurassic film. I think End of an Era is probably the best way to go. I think certain characters were done with. I love Dr. Alan Grant to death. Love that character. Listen, Ellie and freaking Ian are great too. But I was always an Alan Grant guy, and I think that's run its course. It's kind of run its course. Can you sneak them in here in like a quick scene or two, maybe in a future film? Sure, maybe. But like the whole movie, I don't know. I don't know. I think that time is gone. Everybody seems to hate Chris Pratt all of a sudden. Not everybody, but a lot of people seem to hate Chris Pratt all of a sudden. I don't get it. Bryce is always great, so never have a problem seeing Bryce. I think Macy's great as well. So, I mean, we'll see where those characters go. I would assume that they're probably done for a while, build off of the newer characters, see where they go and all that stuff. But yeah, obviously you're going to get more Jurassic in the future. There's no way that's going away. Which, you remember when I was talking about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers earlier, Jurassic Park was like one of my first films that I saw in theaters, if not the first film I saw in theaters when I was a kid, and it's my all-time favorite movie. And I've always wanted a better Jurassic Park game. They always give us these simulator games where you're building the park and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't want that, dude. I don't want to play that. Like, give me a story. Give me a story. I remember the old like Sega Genesis game where you're running around as an Alan Grant character and you had to hit freaking T-Rex in the head with a flash bomb to blind T-Rex so you can get by him in a raft. Good times. Let's see. Moving over to got some Marvel talk actually. Before we get there. Not a lot of DC news to talk about. Big thing going on right now is amping up marketing for Black Adam, which stupid rumors talking about DC and Warner Brothers didn't have marketing money, and Black Adam's doing a whole tour over here. Don't hear these idiots say anything now, do you? Only thing really going on, DC talk that isn't Black Adam amping up for its release is that for the Batman 2, Barry Cohen? Probably got that last name wrong, who may have played the Joker in the first Batman film, is not sure if his character is returning for the Batman 2 yet or not. We'll see. It's definitely an Easter egg you threw into your movie, so you want to hopefully see them do something with that. But there is, of course, a Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix coming up, so you're going to get your Joker fix either way. And we'll see how all that goes. But that's like the main thing going on right now in DC talk. Moving over to Marvel, they released the Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer today. Trailer 2, right? I watched it. Good trailer. Oh man. Freaking bingo card. I'm not a Marvel fan. I'm not the biggest Marvel person in the world. There you go. Bingo card filled out. I said it. So it looks fine. I'll enjoy it. I will see it. Whether I enjoy it or not, that's for another time. I wish in this trailer they do show you Black Panther. I wish they would have not done that. I was perfectly fine with the tease you left us with in the first trailer. I do not need to see Black Panther in your trailer. Save it for the movie. It's a better reaction. I'm not just saying that to Marvel. I felt the same exact way in Batman vs. Superman's trailer when they showed me Wonder Woman. Like, no. You should not have shown me that. You should have saved that for the movie. And I know people are going to feel different about that, but I'm not going to change my opinion on that. I would have freaking thought that moment would have been so much better when Wonder Woman comes down to save if I had no idea that was coming. Just saying. So, Black Panther's shown in the trailer. They don't show the face or anything, but you can pretty much guess who it is. Hot rumor, that's been going on for a long time in that film, so you can pretty much guess who it is. Whatever. The trailer looks good. The movie should be good. The first Black Panther movie was very enjoyable, mostly because of Killmonger. There's no Killmonger in this movie, so let's see how everything pans out. But definitely a heart-wrenching story that they're going with, and a war is building there. So we'll see how that goes. Marvel's Armor Wars is now moving to a feature film Was originally going to be a TV series on Disney Plus, but has now been bumped up to a feature film starring Don Cheadle, of course, reprising his role as Rhodey, aka War Machine. This is based on a Marvel comic that had the same name, based around the story of Iron Man, and follows Rhodes as he must face what happens when Tony Stark's tech falls into the wrong hands. Ultron. Is Ultron coming back? Ooh, who knows? All right, let's see. And other news. Blade is running into all kinds of issues. Blade is having a rough time. So Blade just lost his director. They're going to have to get a new director. My vote is for Sam Raimi. Just freaking, why not? Why not? You just worked with him. So why not call him up, be like, hey, dude, you want to do a freaking vampire movie? Why not? Not only that, but apparently the script is horrible. Apparently the script is not good. And there's reports that are coming out now. The script is apparently being completely rewritten now that they're getting a new director. So that makes you wonder about the release date of November 3rd, 2023, if that's still going to happen or if that's going to end up being moved around. A quote here is that the current Blade script is roughly 90 pages and features exactly 2 action scenes, which are described as lackluster. And on top of that, Mahershala, who is playing Blade in the film, is said to be very frustrated with the process. So, not good times going on over there with the Blade film. If this was a DC film, it'd be all over the fucking press, dude. Everybody would be talking about this and just bashing DC left and right. But it's a Marvel film, so we'll just, say this one little thing and, not put it on every single article and every single page out there because, that's annoying. All right, moving over to just some random bits of news here to close out the show. Kevin Bacon has joined the cast of Beverly Hills Cop 4. Beverly Hills Cop 4 Axel Foley is what it's called. Rough name, dude. Just call it Beverly Hills Cop 4. Is streaming on Netflix, or will be streaming on Netflix, of course, when it's done. Kevin Bacon, fantastic actor. The Bacon Assance is still going on here. So, awesome. Can't wait to see him and Eddie Murphy working off of each other. Let's see, and that just adds another whole freaking... Let me see if those two have worked together before, but that just adds to the whole 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon and making it just a little bit easier because Kevin Bacon and Eddie Murphy in the same movie? Dude, easy. Quick Google search here. I'm not seeing anything to do with those two working together before this. So, there you go, man. Let's see. A new Tarzan film is on the way. Sony has purchased the rights to the character's film. Let's see, they're looking to do a total reinvention of both the character and the intellectual property, also known as IP. As of now, no filmmaker, writer, or producers are attached to the project, but it is said to be looking for a top-down reimagining of the iconic tale of Tarzan. So, more power to you, man. Didn't we have a Tarzan movie recently with Margot Robbie? I want to say that we did, and I haven't seen it since seeing it in theaters because it didn't leave me with the best impression. Let's see, Tarzan, Margot Robbie. Yeah, The Legend of Tarzan. Alexander Skarsgård, Margot Robbie, Sam Jackson. I would watch it again, but it looks like it's not streaming on anything, and I'm not renting it. So, whatever, dude. I love Margot Robbie, so I'd definitely check it out again for her alone. But, new Tarzan film on the way, man. So, if you're hoping for that, there you go. Let's see. There is another installment of the American Pie franchise on the way. Details about the new movie are still being kept under wraps, but is being described as a fresh new take on the sex comedy franchise. American Pie. I have not watched those movies in a while. How many of those movies did they make? They made a good bit of those, didn't they? Let's see. American. That'd be great if I could spell American. I'm only in America. American Pie films. Let's see, how many are there? All right, you got American Pie, American Pie 2, American Wedding, and American Reunion. I'm pretty sure they had some spinoffs too. Yeah, they had some spinoffs. So you had American Pie Presents Bandcamp, American Pie Presents The Naked Mile, American Pie Presents Beta House. God, those 3 all released within a year of each other. American Pie, The Book of Love, and then in 2020 had American Pie Presents Girls Rule, which they do. Girls are amazing. But, again, I haven't watched the franchise in a while. I don't even know if I've seen American Pie Reunion or American Reunion. I don't know if I've seen American Wedding. So, definitely need to do a rewatch on those. What are they streaming on? I don't know, dude. Like, this is... Let's see. What are you streaming on? It's Universal, so I would assume Peacock, but it is not saying it is available to watch on Peacock. So another one of those rents, and I'm not going to rent it to watch it. So there you go, man. Another American Pie film apparently on the way. Fresh new take. That sounds to me like they're not going to be bringing back the original characters. Maybe they will sneak them in there in some way, shape, or form, but sounds like they want to do something new. Let's see. Walt Disney World's Epcot mascot is getting a film. That's right, Figment, the mascot to Walt Disney World's Epcot, is getting a movie, and Seth Rogen's team is producing it. Figment was a character that was created back in 1983. That was the debut of the Journey into Imagination ride. Figment is the embodiment of the imagination process, apparently. I've never been to Epcot, I really don't know. I just know it's like a purple dinosaur. Or dragon, excuse me. Purple dinosaur's Barney, which there's a documentary out about that I'm going to check out, because Barney, what a story. But yeah, I mean, Figment's getting a movie. Holy crap. Like, Disney is doing what they can, right? And Seth Rogen's a part of this. That's wild. The feature will not be Figment's first time on the big screen. There was a cameo in Inside Out, as well as Toy Story 4. As for Seth Rogen's production team, up next for them is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem film. So, more power to you, man. And then final bit of news to go over here is the news you've already heard about. Mr. Wonderful talked about it on his show, and I'll just briefly touch on it here. Hugh Jackman is officially back as Wolverine for the upcoming Deadpool 3 film. Deadpool 3 has an official release date as well now of September 6th, 2024. Wow, still a while for that one. Check out the video if you haven't had the chance. Go to Ryan Reynolds' social medias. I assume they're on all of them. I saw them on Facebook. Good stuff. Good quality entertainment there. I'm glad to see, don't get me wrong, I'm glad to see this happen. But I think we're all kind of ready for a new Wolverine, and we've all been speculating and, hoping of who the actor would be for Hugh Jackman. Or who, Jesus. I'm so used to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Yes, we were speculating on who will play Hugh Jackman and the Hugh Jackman biopic. Yeah. Jesus, it's time to end this show. But yeah, that's going to be fun. I can't wait to see those two interacting off each other. There's always been the little Easter egg and comedy bits in the Deadpool films featuring Hugh Jackman. So I'm excited to see Wolverine again. It's been a while since I've seen Wolverine. I haven't seen Wolverine since Logan. They explained how this will work. Of course, Deadpool 3 is the first appearance of Deadpool in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which means Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they have all these loopholes and yada 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 to still have another Wolverine. So we'll see. We'll see where they end up going with all that stuff, man. But hey, that's it, dude. 2 reviews. Freaking 2 movie reviews. The Munsters, Hocus Pocus 2. Check them out both. I had a fantastic time with both of them. All kinds of news there for you. And that does it for the show, man. Again, Spooktacular 4 happening this week, dude. On the 7th, we're having the Friday the 13th live stream. I may or may not be a part of that. Playing the game-wise, I'm sure I'll be doing commentary in some way, shape, or form, but don't know if I'll be playing or not yet. And then the next day, we've got all of our shows live. Not live, but all of our shows will be up on YouTube, man. Special edition spooky versions of all of our shows. So, gonna be a good time. I'm losing my voice for some reason, so it's time to go to sleep. Appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to my freaking nonsense here. Actually, we'll be live on the 8th. Haunter's podcast will be live at Red Vein Haunt. So we do have a live thing there. I know I wasn't going crazy. They will be live there. Nonetheless, that's it for the show. Appreciate you all taking the time to listen to me. God, the freaking video version of the show is going to be stupid. Anyways, appreciate you. Thank you for listening to the show. Please like, follow, subscribe, share the Throw Me Podcast Network. And as always, remember, happiness can be found even in the darkest times if one remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.
Thank you for joining me this week. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to get updates on all new episodes. As well, follow me on Twitter at review_it_Rob. Stay tuned for more adventures.